Harry Kane to leave Spurs if they don't qualify for the Champions League.
Great skill. Oh, what a goal!
So basically he's leaving Spurs because they're not qualifying for the Champions League. They're not. Liverpool are not in the top four. United are not even in the top four. Everton are not in the top four. And there's like 1 point between all these teams. And I think Spurs are even below them. It's not happening. Like, they're not. Unfortunately, like, guys, honestly, I'm not gonna lie. I'm a Jose fan. Like, I'm on his side. Like, I know he's not the most well polished guy in the media, but when you listen to what he says, it's true. Like, the Europa League knockout just showed it. The defending, like, what's he meant to do? He's not gonna go on the pitch and like kick the ball for them. But somehow it's the manager's fault. And he played a good 11, but somehow it's the manager's fault. Like, there's a point. It's the players' fault. They have to take responsibility. But, you know, the manager gets sacked. You don't blame the manager, blah, 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 blah. It's fine. But based on the squad and the mentality of the players, they just can't hold out. They just can't. They will not be able to. That would be a miracle. If they make top four, that in itself would be like, there'll have to be complete capitulation from everyone else. And there's just not enough games, really. But moving on. So, yeah. So, Kane's basically leaving. So, we have to ask the question, number one, how much is he worth? Now, he's been quoted 120 million to 200 million. Plus the English tax, so that's about 300 million, yeah? All jokes aside. But, yeah, let's say 120 million plus. It being Levy, this guy can get blood from a stone, so he probably could push for a good 160, whatever. So I'm curious to see, because if there's any player he ever had that he could use, it's Kane. Like, this is the guy. He's going to show us his real powers, because he was negotiating with these basic players, getting good deals. Kane, Harry Class A Kane, as the expression says. I don't know what kind of... He's going to be getting... We'll give you Kane and we get a player in your stadium. He's going to be doing that madness with this one. This one, he's going to be laughing in negotiations like, you're joking, right? You're probably going to have to end up, like, I don't know what it's going to be like. But yeah, so I'm curious to see what Levy does, because the value. But there's two things I want to touch on. Number one, life after Kane. And number two, where does Kane go? But firstly, life after Kane. Guys, players come and go, you know. In the, I'll say the last decade, yeah, there was so much players that we thought, oh, never will come around again, never will come around again. And then they came around again. And they came around, and they came around in another form. We're seeing the Haalands and Mbappe. I remember the days we thought Henry's immortal. Now you're looking at Mbappe, like, I think he already broke his Champions League record, like, stuff like that. Like, players come and go. I know sometimes we're scared and we're like, we'll never see. Apart from maybe Messi and Ronaldo, which I think they're like one a century. Players scoring 20 goals a season, like, I'm not saying it's normal, but you can find them. You just have to look in the right places. And that's the next thing. Look in the right places. Don't do a panic buy and just buy a name. Or who's a striker? Dybala, let's go. Like, that's lazy. That's lazy scouting. In my opinion, that's when you buy these kind of players. You end up buying players like Higuain and Morata because you're just being lazy. That's Chelsea's tactics. I'm sorry, Chelsea fans, but that's just lazy. Like, you just got money. Like, just get this guy. What? Yeah, what? He scored 20 goals once upon a time. Take time. Dortmund. If their blueprint is not enough, I don't know what is. Time after time, how are they getting these attackers? Because they take time. They don't say we need to spend 70 million. They say we're going to spend 30 million. Help the player develop a bit. Give him game time. Bang. No one's expecting Spurs to win the league. So that alone, they need to take advantage of not having that pressure. Take time. Build up. Liverpool done it. Just take time. Build up. It's not a rush. You're not trying to buy players that we need to win the league next week. No one is expecting that. Like, no one. No one expects that. So you can get off that boat. But my point being, 150 million, let's say, that's fair. If they make the right signings, that could turn the table around. I think Kane can make that room, and that could turn things around for Spurs. Jose can maybe get more players in, his kind of players, and they can go. Because we have to be honest. The way some of the players have been performing, you just can't blame the manager. And Kane and Son have done their job. But there's a lot of question marks around a lot of other players. And Reguilon and Ndombele, I love that guy. But other than that, obviously there's a few others, but I'm not going to get into it. Cool. So moving on, where does Kane go? Where does Kane go? Like, where's he gonna go? Where is it? He says he wants to leave because he wants to win trophies, or everyone's pushing trophies. If you don't win trophies, this is a career failure, blah, blah, blah. Cool. Trophies, yeah? Now, in my opinion, FA Cup is not a worthy trophy to leave Spurs for. So, I'm ruling that out. If he's leaving, it has to be for the Premier League or European trophy, and ideally the Champions League, not Europa League. So, in England at least, his options are Man City or Liverpool. Man City, for me, out of all clubs, not just in England but around the world, that's the best fit. Because the situation is panning out perfectly. Aguero's time's done. They need a striker. They're playing this false football without no strikers, and they're getting away with it. But top level football, you can't play that. That's not sustainable, yeah? So Man City is the best candidate. Pep keeps lying and saying they're not going to spend no money, but if Harry Kane's available, best believe the war chest will be broken out, and they could sell like 2 players, and that can be done, you know. And they're not above that. They'll sell certain players that you think they wouldn't sell. Sold, done. Liverpool is an option in terms of winning trophies, but their style of play does not suit him. His style of play does not suit them, and vice versa. I don't believe Liverpool's philosophy. They're not going to blow that amount of money. They bought Van Dijk because they needed him, and he's proven like worthy. He paid back the price double already. But they don't need him. Like, they don't need a striker, really. So Liverpool's kind of ruled out. United, like, are you really going United to win trophies? In this time period as well. It's not Ferguson era. It's like now where they're still kind of in this rebuild, awkward process. Now, yes, he's Harry Kane, so he could turn around the club. And they could sell him the hopes and dreams that, you know, he comes and he'll boost the profile of the club and their ambitions. But that, for me, is a bit, he could end up in FA Cup, Europa League, Champions League semi-final, but nothing more than that. Now that one's like, he could make the difference if they make other signings, but there's more like ifs and buts, and you're kind of like the Spurs situation again, ifs and buts. So I wouldn't go United, but then it's United. So then everyone, if United come knocking, you go. They've got the money because they would just waste the money because that's what they would do. They would be the ones to be like, yeah, let's spend 150 million. Come on, man, make football make sense, please. So United the third option, and they're a bit likely, but for me, if he really wants trophies, like real trophies, United's not the place. Outside of England, who have we got? Real Madrid. They got the money, but Real Madrid, he might not start, and Real Madrid are cutthroat. You don't score, you don't play. Now, granted, they've got a good few players there, some towards the end of their time, but they've got a good few players. Real Madrid is always that club. It's always just hit and miss because they sign big players every season, so it's not really a big deal if they sign Kane, it doesn't work, and they let him go to the next season or the season after. You see what they've done to Bell, so that's Gareth Bell, like 4 Champions Leagues later, and they're still, you know. Barcelona, there's a lot going on there. Do you go Barcelona if Messi's not there? Griezmann's leading the line. Haaland's in speculation. Like, I can't lie. If I'm Barcelona, I'm selling Haaland over Kane any day of the week because he's younger, you know, more life. Especially when you're talking in the hundreds of millions, the player at least have to have like some longevity as well. So then Barcelona's a bit like, it could work, but it might not work because the only way Barcelona work, to be fair, is there's some crazy swap deals going on. Like, yeah, Griezmann plus 50, like something mad that Spurs are like, do you know what? That works for us. Italy, I just don't think it's an option, really. I mean, Juventus is Juventus, isn't it? Like, you can go there, you probably will win the league, but the club is just the squad is just aged. It's just aged. So it's a tough one. I'm very curious to see where he goes, but I think where he goes will really tell us like what his ambitions are. Because I feel like if he goes United, then it's like, was it about trophies? You've gone to a bigger club, but everyone has to be honest. It's not the same old United. So for me, it's City or nothing. And then on top of that, contractually, he's there till 2024. So Levy's like, bro, I don't have to sell you. So that's another variable in itself. He doesn't even have to be sold. He's under contract. And Kane ain't that guy that's going to be, I'm not going to play. You're going to play because you're Harry Kane. You will play. But you guys let me know. What do you think he should do? Where should he go? And what's life like after Kane? I think it can be beautiful. Depends on how they spin it. Don't forget to like and subscribe.